Welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a game called A Taste of the Past. It was made for a game jam, and apparently we are tasting our family or our mother's food to try to learn more about our culture or our family. That's all I know about the game. The link will be in the description if you guys want to play it for yourselves. Let's get going. Took me far longer than I'd like to admit to find the play button. Oh, such a cute art. Ingredient: soy sauce, sesame oil, something mushrooms. But this is lions. Scallions, carrots, noodles, sugar. Tartar sauce? That doesn't seem right. He seems like a mostly Asian recipe. Are we flipping the pages? E? Even the ingredient list is indistinguishable. Pages are weathered and torn, proof of generations of recipes passed down. That's fair. Probably happens with a lot of families like that. I remember being a kid and having the recipes propped up on our counter as Mom made my favorite dumplings. Hot pot for special occasions. Long noodles for my birthday. My first birthday without her. Oh, that's sad. I begged for the recipe growing up, but she always reassured me that it was Mom's secret. It's really hard when we have like these memories about or like with certain family members, but then when they're gone, that's what we think of, or it's such like a bonding moment. And then the first time we have that experience without them, it's kind of that weird moment. How am I supposed to be whole without you? Background is becoming more gray. Well, not anymore, right? As soon as I say that. I can't believe I fell asleep. I bet I missed my stop. Where is everyone? Oh. Walking along. I like the animation. Everyone else is eating hot pots and long noodles. Grandma? Oh, I was just gonna say we're just talking to random strangers on the train, but apparently they are not strangers. Honey, last time I saw you, you were just a couple feet tall. You've become a beautiful woman since. Aw, is our grandma dead? It's so sad. To, like, have moments like this where we're either, like, in a dream, or, like, if the narrative is, like, we're actually being able to talk to them. Those are really sad things. What's going on? I thought you were dead. Ugh. I'm here to guide you through your mom's passing. Oh, this is a tragic game. I didn't know it was gonna be this sad. You know about that? I found you're here, and that's how I knew, May. I know everything hurts right now, and I'm sorry. I remember when your great-grandma died. All of those memories I had once forgotten now came rushing back. I was afraid I'd forget her. Wait, Mom's here? Where can I find her? There's so much I need to tell her. You'll see her when you're ready. Ask about the train or ask about your mom? How do I choose? Oh, I chose the train. Where am I? Sometimes the game uses, like, the keys, and sometimes it uses, apparently, the mouse. It was a test. Where am I? This is the train of our family lineage. Talk to as many ancestors while you're here. There must be a special reason why you're able to visit us. Am I dead? That's a good question. No, dear. I have one more thing before I should let you go. Do you remember the first time you swam? That's a random question. When I was 6, how do you remember that? I used to take you to the swimming pool every Friday after elementary school. Oh, so this is when you bonded with your grandma. You complained every time that your mom wasn't there. But she was cooking dinner for us. When you made it to the deep end for the first time, your mom made you... I'm probably not going to say that right. Tofu, your favorite at the time. She gave up spending time with us to make sure you were cared for. She had been there all your life, even if you didn't realize it. I wish I could have her food again. If you want to take one thing from her, it's to love even when no one's watching. I don't have any of her recipes. I'll never be able to cook like her when I have a daughter. Take this list and go to the fridge. I promised your mom I'd give this to you. What? What list? I'm happy you're visiting. Your grandmother hasn't been doing well since your mother joined us. It wasn't her time yet. How have you been? I mean, I don't imagine well if he's dead. They say you'll have all the time to sleep when you're dead. But your grandma still wakes me up in the morning to share the latest family gossip. Sounds like her. Jeez. I can't stop thinking about Mom. The truth is, you'll never stop grieving her. Yeah. But you will learn to celebrate her as well. Grief is a form of celebration. You mourn only because the laughs you've shared, the hardships you've endured, and the memories you've made. You cannot have one without the other. I still can't bring myself to delete her voicemails. Oh, yeah. To, like, be able to remember the sound of their voice. I try to remake her food, but the online recipes I've found are never as good as hers. Soon, you'll learn how to carry her with you properly. But I haven't seen you since you finished middle school. How have you been? Talk about Dad or talk about art class? I mean, Dad seems like more of a family thing, so let's talk about that. Let's just say Dad only knows how to make microwavable meals. All I can picture with microwavable meals are either like the lean cuisine ones. They've done really good marketing, if that's what I think of, or the Hungry Man ones. Oh dear, I'll have to keep that one to myself. Your mom would come back to life just to divorce your dad if she heard that. Oh shit. He asked me about school, but it feels like we're trying to fill in the space Mom once took up. Well, I think that that's also a normal thing that happens with loss. You know, we all fill these kinds of roles within our family, but then when there's a loss, those roles, like, it's like our family still naturally wants to fill those roles, but we're kind of figuring out how, and so it's kind of this adjustment period to figure out, like, who is going to fill that role. Because, like, the game is also kind of saying that in the sense of saying that this character almost wants to fill the role of cooking, both to remember and maybe almost like memorialize their mom, but maybe also to fill that role that the mom once played in the family. He's scared he'll never be what your mom was. Yeah, I mean, like, but he never would. That's not his job. We're all afraid we won't be enough, that our loved ones won't accept us, that we won't be appreciated. That doesn't change when you become an adult. How is school? It's been awkward. Everyone in class already walks on eggshells around me. Well, I mean, like, it's also really hard to know when someone has a loss. It's kind of hard to know what to say sometimes. We all handle grief and loss very differently, and how we handle it sometimes can change. And so sometimes it's kind of hard to know, like, how we can be supportive for that person. And I think that grief and loss also makes it so we don't talk about it. It feels like it's a weird thing to talk about. And so I think that for a lot of people, it feels really awkward to say, hey, I'm here for you. And then it's also really hard to keep bringing it up, or to offer to do things, or to even not offer to do things. It's just, it feels like it's a hard conversation to have, even though I think that it feels like we're gonna make the pain worse. But I guess my personal opinion on that is that when we've had a loss like that, I think it kind of feels like the worst has already happened. So we already know these things, and really offering support isn't making it worse, because, like I said, the worst has already happened. It doesn't help that I got sent home from class for crying. Everyone came up to ask me if I was okay, and I was like, no, I'm never going to see my mom again. Like, the worst has already happened. Then they all gathered around me and started crying, but I didn't want them to cry. I just wanted them to know I was crying for a reason. So then I started comforting them, even though I'm the one with the dead mom. Oh, that's so hard. To, like, feel like you're trying to be there for other people when you are also struggling. I didn't know this game was gonna be so sad. I was thinking, oh, a happy cooking game. Yeah, let's do that. Fucking hell. I had to tell them everything was okay when it's obviously not. Most of your classmates haven't gone through a parental death. It'll take them some time to know how to respond. One thing you'll realize is that your relationship with your mom will change even though she's gone. She'll impact your future more than you think. But she won't be there for any of it. She'll always be with you, even if you can't see her. Take care of yourself, May. We're always thinking of you. Oh, I hope I'm saying that name right. I'm awful with names. Oh. Oh, is this the recipe? Noodles, mushrooms, scallions, sesame oil. Are we getting things? Oh, okay. Noodles. Mushrooms. Can I click on the banana? No, I can't. I mean, like, I can't, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, that's sesame oil. Scallions. Cool. Okay. Are you my mom? Are any of you my mom? Feels so awkward to say. Hi, have I met you before? You look familiar. May, is that you? Who are you? I haven't seen you since you were a baby, but I'm your great-grandmother. My mom showed me a picture of you once. Do you know why I'm here? Sometimes they bring those with unfinished business here. How have you been holding up? I don't know. Her funeral was last week. Oh, this is so recent. I took my sister to the mall to shop for a black dress. Oh, and it was weird. Like, what am I supposed to say when the sales associate asked me, looking for anything in particular today? Yeah, just a dress for my mother's funeral. Ugh. And it's not just that. Who's gonna take me to 99 Ranch? I don't know what that is. Who's gonna watch scary movies with me? Part of me doesn't want to be happy because that will mean I've accepted her death. Yeah. I think that we often look at, like, processing grief and loss as though we're happy without them. But I think that it's more like not letting it be this, not letting that grief and loss be the center of our universe, or even choosing to remember the good times instead of just the fact that they're gone. You know, there are several different perspectives that we can choose to look at it, but it's not that we're happy that they're gone. If that were the case, we wouldn't be grieving in the first place. But that's what your mom would want you to do, be happy. I reconnected with your mother here recently. She's a wonderful woman. She spoke highly of you. I mean, she loves you. Do you want to hear what she said? Yes, or no, it'll hurt too much. I mean, this character has unfinished business with our mother. I feel like finding this stuff out would be more helpful, even though it would hurt in the moment. Like, in the long run, it would be more helpful. Because isn't that the whole fucking point for why we're here? She said that she could not be more proud of you. Forgot I have to press E to progress. She told me about how you took care of your sister through her passing. How boldly you paint your favorite snacks. She loves you. I didn't know she felt that way. You'd think that if everyone goes through loss, that we'd learn a better way to cope. I mean, everybody does go through loss, though. Loss and grief and loss is one of the most shared human experiences because we all go through it. We also think of grief and loss as though it is only death, just because that's just how we think of it, but it's not. It can be so many other things, whether it be losing a job, having to move, having friends drift away from us. All of these are different ways that grief and loss can show up for us. We have the stages of grief to guide us, but grief doesn't know it's supposed to be linear. The stages of grief and loss is like a very popular concept. It is, let's see if I can remember it, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And it is totally normal for people to go through the stages more than once, to almost like bounce between them if that's kind of what they do. It's not as though we go through all the stages exactly linear. And not only that, but it's really normal to spend a different amount of time at these stages. It's not as though, again, we have to go through this linearly, but there's a certain amount of time. It's like, oh, well, you only have 1 month of denial and 1 month of anger and 1 month. That's not how it works. Because again, grief and loss is so individual for how we all handle it. But those are the stages of grief and loss. It's a really common concept as far as like how we look at grief and loss. I believe it came out around the 70s. It's some famous researchers, Kubler-Ross, who came up with the concept. Grief doesn't know it's supposed to be linear. I feel like I'm going through the first 4 stages all at once. Again, really common idea. You can take all the time you need. If we ever feel pressure to process grief and loss, it's usually because we're putting the pressure on ourselves more than anything else. I wish we had more time so we could get to know you better, but I should let you go. Hi, I assume you're my great-grandpa. You must be May. I need to ask, how's being a teenager in your time? Well, there's TikTok. A lot of hashtags and a lot of emojis. And this is someone who's not a teenager. Kind of terrible. That's another way to put it. Sounds like things haven't changed then. Probably fair. I'm sorry about your mother, but let's get your mind off it, okay? We can talk about something else. Like, what? Anything you want to know about me? What's it like being dead? How did you meet my great-grandma? What's it like being dead? I kind of wonder, like, as a developer, how would you answer a question like that? You're still all the same things you were when you were alive. I'm still a husband, a father, a brother. I think about when I was alive, I regret not allowing myself to be happy. I was too worried about things that didn't end up mattering. I hope this is something you learn before it's too late. There's too much going on to be happy. I feel like we could always say that about any time in our life. I can barely bring myself to eat, and my sister cries in the shower, and I can't bring Mom back. Just get your mind on more positive things. My turn to ask you, what makes you happy? This is such a philosophical question. I mean, like, everybody will have different definitions of, like, what makes them happy. Or even what does it mean to be happy? Like, what does happiness mean? Going on walks in the neighborhood with Mom, falling asleep to the sound of rain, listening to throwback songs in the car. Because can't you do these second 2 things right now still? You can still go on walks in the neighborhood even without your mom. I know it'll be different. The small things are always worth holding on to. I have to be honest with you, I had a complicated relationship with your great-grandparents. A lot of people have complicated relationships with their parents. You'll meet them in the next train car. They're interesting people. It wasn't until they passed that I understood them. After my dad died, I had to pick up his stuff from my childhood house, and it was only then that I realized how similar we were. Navigating the familiar roads in our neighborhood, working to provide for my family, wondering what my purpose was. I mean, a lot of these are very common themes. It's also really hard to feel like we have these common things when maybe we're in a family that doesn't communicate or talk openly about things too. You're lucky you had this bond when your mom was living. Losing her isn't lucky. Yeah, but you had the bond. That's what he's talking about. You'll learn more about your mom as you grow older, and you'll understand what I mean. The train is quite dirty. Why don't you wash your hands before you travel further? Oh. Oh. Okay. Click and hold to wash your hands. I swear I know how to wash my hands. Do I have to stop it exactly on the line? I do know how to wash my hands. Hey, kid! I heard you need a ticket to ride the train. I just appeared here. What? I'm just messing with you. Just something us great uncles do. Oh, it's a dad joke. I'm still confused how this train works. Am I going deeper and deeper in time? That does seem to be today's theme. Each cart houses a generation, and you, my dear, have reached the best part of the train. Because you're here? I wouldn't take your great-grandparents too seriously, though. They aren't as wise as I am. If each train cart has a different generation, why is your mom, like, not, like, closer to where you were? What am I supposed to do here? Why is everyone asking something out of me? Shouldn't it be obvious from how everyone's talking to you? About my mom. She left something for all of us to give you. Why me, though? Why not Dad? Well, you're the one having a harder time with it. Because you're her daughter. From the day you were born, you became her world. Also because having kids means finally someone will laugh at your jokes. That doesn't last long, though. What if I never live up to my mom? Were you a parent? Never live up to my mom. You don't need to worry about that. Because no matter what you do, you'll live up to her. You should think about boys and school and whatever kids your age think about. I wasn't thinking about honoring your mom or my mom at your age. I think your mom can hear you. Just kidding. What I'm trying to say is don't feel like you have to be the person your mom wants you to be. Our world is much more interesting if we can learn through yours. I wish Mom could see me now and tell me that everything's going to be okay. There's still so much left for me to do, and she can't guide me through any of it. But isn't the whole point of it, like, the game is saying that you had this wonderful relationship with your mom, and that she did so much for you, even behind the scenes, right? When they talked about the mom doing the cooking, right? Like, even when she was off doing swimming, it's like the mom did so much behind the scenes. And so when I think of people who have relationships with their parents like that, she probably has planted enough seeds in this person's life that she would continue to guide her because of these seeds that were planted. Isn't that the implication? Like, that's my assumption. What's left? Tell me what do you have to do? I haven't even finished high school. I have to fall in love, get my heart broken, go through an emo phase, of course, like all the requirements of being a teenager. Find myself. Oh, that's not a teenage thing. That's like a person thing. Work at the bookstore down the street I always dreamed of. I have to paint something greater than I've ever done before. One day you will do all of those things and we'll be here cheering you on. People told me I wouldn't be famous, but look, I'm in a video game. Huh? Don't worry about it. Your mom told me to give you those noodles. You can boil them on the stove before you go. Select the right temperature, 80 degrees. I have to... Oh. Okay. Now what? Oh, 110? 100? I'm pretty sure that's not how boiling works, but okay. This place isn't dirty? Hi, mate. I don't know that. It's an honor to meet you. Your grandmother told me that you're an artist. I'd love to hear what art you do. I paint watercolor portraits. Is that like what's in the background? It could be watercolor. What have you done recently? Well, I'm talking to my ancestors. I did a painting of Mom and me. She's the sun and I'm the moon. You can't have one without the other. Aww. I made it for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is next week. But Mom never got to see it. I don't know if anyone's told you, but I used to paint as well. I did traditional brush paintings of mountains and trees. Painting's the only time I feel like my old self. No one tells me how I'm supposed to feel. Have you ever written poetry on your paintings? That's what we used to do. I'd sometimes write my own or use... what's another name? I don't know. Work. I only ever write in my journal. I'm not poetic or anything. How about you try now? Because yeah, with poetry, you don't have to be good at it. It's a form of expression. It's like painting. You don't have to be good at it to do it. Write a poem about moving on. Here goes nothing. Grief is a book where the words have forgotten their meaning. The pages can no longer make us forget. Grief is a book that burns. Every time someone tells me to move on or pretend they understand, a book with its spine torn out that throws itself into the fire without anyone caring. Grief is a book that cannot take you to another world. Grief is love that has lost its path, where the daughter must face that her mother is gone, where the ending is already written. Are you sure this is your first time doing poetry? Maybe you should... Oh, make sure you chop and fry the vegetables before you leave. Pick up the knife and chop the veggies, and put the knife back where you found it. Okay. Oh. Oh, I like how they're stacking up over there. So we are learning how to cook this stuff as we go along. Oh my god, a dog! Ruff, ruff. Everyone's been talking about you. I'm May. Nice to meet you. I heard about your mom. It's going to be hard, but you need to take care of your sister. Your mom can't be there for you two anymore, and your dad is busy with his job. So busy, we get hungry man meals. I know. In my time, my family could barely provide for us. I had to work as a kid on our farm on land, I had to work as a kid on our farm on land we didn't even own. Look, loss doesn't come easy. My mom died when I was 5. But your grandma made sure you could have a better life in America, and you shouldn't throw that away because your mom is gone. Focus on school and family. I'm trying. You need to try harder, do you understand? Isn't this a bit harsh? Or I guess. It is very straightforward and blunt. I guess. You're lucky that you have food on the table. We can only eat meals like yours for New Year's. Like, I feel like the comparison is potentially causing the harshness. But it wouldn't change anything if I suffered like you did. I can only promise to try my best. The newer generations don't understand the value of work. Your dad has to pay for your art classes by himself now. I know. Haven't you considered that? But Mom put me in painting classes, and it's one of the only things that makes me happy. Listen, I just want what's best for you. Are we making our painting of the sun and moon? Oh, and it puts the ingredients together. Let's go. Oh, that looks like a watercolor. Are you sleeping? You sure know how to keep a lady waiting. Is this the last train? You could keep exploring, but no one else will know a thing about making noodles. Do you know how to make the long noodles? You mean longevity noodles? I'm the one who created the original recipe, but I'm missing one of the ingredients. All I know is that your mother told me to give you this. Wood ear mushroom. There was a word that was like blurred out before mushroom. The long noodles represent a long life. That's why you eat it on your birthday. Your mother is passing on the recipe to you. She knows you'll do it justice. After all, May, you're strong. Don't forget that. People keep telling me that after she died, but I didn't do anything. I just begged the universe, my friends, whatever god there might be, that would come back. You kept your head up. That's all anyone could have asked from you. So, like, she's basically saying, I'm not strong because I was bargaining, which is, like, a very normal thing that happens with grief, but it doesn't make us any less strong, and it doesn't mean that we can't get through the grief and loss. Because we're human. Just because we're human doesn't mean we can't get through things. What do you want to do now? I want to stay here longer, or I want to go home. I mean, I want to stay here longer because, like, isn't there the potential that your mom could be here? I want to learn more about paintings and hear Grandma share stories about Mom. I wish I could give you more time, but you need to get home soon. After you've mixed the noodles, you've done all that you need to do. There's a bowl at the end of the train. Remember carefully. I'm not good at remembering things! Oh shit, I already forgot. Okay. Okay. Are we going? Now we're going the other way. Are you my mom? I would have expected that if this was our mom, we would have, like, ran to her.
Mom? Is that you?
Voice acting.
Happy birthday, May.
I can't believe you're here. So much has happened ever since you left. I need you back.
You know I can't leave.
I'm sorry I skipped out on making dumplings with you last month. I'm sorry I don't help Dad enough. I'll do anything for you back, please.
You don't have to be sorry for anything. I wish I could tell you more, but we don't have that much time. You've always been so kind and caring. It's what makes you strong. Do you remember the first time I made you noodles? You were in the 3rd grade, so small and curious. The store ran out of bean sprouts, and you suggested wood ear mushrooms. From then on, that ingredient became our tradition. All because of you. The recipe was never as important as the memories we made from it. They'll never disappear.
I'm everything I am today because of you. I never thanked you for making congee for me when I was sick, or for believing in my paintings.
Don't worry. Just knowing that I'll always be in your heart brings me peace.
Thank you, Mom, for everything. I wish we could have had dinner together one last time.
I'm sorry for leaving you so soon.
You did more than enough for me. You were the greatest mom I could have asked for.
May, I want you to keep painting. Ask Dad to take you to that New Order concert. Live like you did before my passing, spirited and open.
I don't know if I can do that without you.
I'll always be with you. It looks like this is your stop. I love you. Always.
I love you too. Goodbye, Mom.
That was so sweet.
I went to 99 Ranch the other day. My first time there without you. Did you feel emotional the first time you came to America? You must have been so excited to find an Asian supermarket and not just one exotic shelf in the grocery store. I walked past the aisles, the lychee jellies you used to buy me as a kid, the grandmas gossiping at the produce section, all those times I used to sneak Hello Panda in our shopping cart. I didn't know what brand of udon to buy. I tried to call you, but you couldn't answer. Then a lady came up to me. She grabbed udon off the shelf and told her daughter, "This one is my favorite." And just like that, I knew you were watching over me. I don't know how things are going to change, but I'll keep painting. I'll help Dad take care of Amy. I'll take everything you've given me and continue to love our family. I'm hopeful for the future, and all it took was a taste of the past.
I had no idea this was gonna be such a sad game. I really loved it though. Like, grief and loss is such a shared human experience, but at the same time, we avoid talking about it. I think that we kind of tiptoe around it because we're afraid that maybe it'll cause it. Like, maybe it'll cause that grief and loss, almost like a very superstitious kind of, like, thought process. But I think it's also this idea that, like, when grief and loss has happened to someone or someone's going through that experience, it's almost like, I don't want to cause any more pain for you. But then it's also really hard because people may not feel as supported. And there's just so much about grief and loss that is really fucking difficult. You know, there are some times when we want support and sometimes when we don't want support, and it's all really hard to communicate. But I really like how this game handled it. It's so sad. And I think that it's something that is easy to relate to if you've ever lost a parent. But I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are about it. If you could leave a comment about how the game handled grief and loss. I will see you guys in the next video where hopefully it's not such a surprisingly sad game.